What up, white boy? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be looking at Altar Boy Luke versus Supreme in a House of Horrors deathmatch from XPW's Merry Fucking Christmas 2002 that took place on December 21st, 2002 at Viking Hall in Philly. Merry Fucking Christmas 2002 was never released by XPW, so this is a really rare match. In case you didn't see, we were live on FanCam Commentary's channel watching death matches, and we watched an XPW match where Luke put his hands up for a chair shot, and I was like, dude, I'm pretty sure I know the story that followed after that. I was pretty sure I had the match, but I wasn't 100%, so I went and checked, and I have it, so I was like, dude, I gotta fucking do it. I'll elaborate more on this later in the video. You don't get any entrances, so we see Altar Boy Luke standing in the ring with the referee, and we see a chair hung from the ceiling.
Surround the ring, above the ring, everywhere.
Camera starts to zoom out, and we see the ring announcer and Supreme standing on the other side of the ring staring at Luke.
Wasted on 4 steel chairs.
Supreme's like, fuck this, let's go, and grabs onto Carl Winslow and throws him outside of the ring for no fucking reason.
A ring announcer and out.
Men get face to face, and we see Supreme laughing, and he punches Luke, and we hear the bell ring.
We know who these guys are. And Supreme gives Luke a shot to the head.
Luke stands up, and Supreme punches him into the ropes and gives him an Irish whip, and he goes for a clothesline, but Luke ducks out and kicks him in the stomach, but Supreme catches it and makes him do a backflip and then gives him a huge clothesline. Supreme's fucking snapping as Luke rolls around in pain. Supreme stands Luke up to his feet and hits him with a chain wrench that's hanging from the ceiling.
Ring wrench. Right between the eyes.
Supreme goes into the corner and bends over and picks up a piece of ductwork from an AC vent and hits Luke in the head with it.
Right at home, obviously.
Crowd boos Supreme and he throws it, and then he's like, hold on 1 second, and picks it back up. See Luke trying to make it to his feet. Right to the fucking head, and the crowd boos Supreme again, and he actually chucks it outside the ring this time. Goes back into the corner and grabs a garbage can lid.
He's got a trash can lid.
Luke starts to make it up to his feet. Nailed him right in the face, and he throws it outside the ring, and the fans in the front row throw a rubber chicken to Supreme.
And now it's time. It's time for a little chicken Supreme.
Crowd breaks out into a fucking chicken chant, and we see Luke trying to make it up to his feet again.
Rubber chicken, and down goes.
Another blow right to the head, and we could see Supreme getting hyped up.
Assaulted by chicken.
Supreme looks around the ring and then walks up and kicks something outside the ring and picks the rubber chicken back up. Supreme lays Luke down and stands over him and hits him in the balls with it.
Oh no! Right between the
Supreme chucks the chicken back into the crowd.
And he can hear Luke.
We see Supreme walking, looking around the ring, and he bends over and picks up a Christmas ornament and walks up to Luke and smashes it into his head.
And look at that fucking Christmas.
Supreme starts yelling some shit, and then he walks up to Ultra Boy Luke and grabs him by the shirt and stands him up. Throws Luke's arm over his shoulder and gives him almost like a T-bone suplex. Luke's selling it by twitching, and we see the referee checking on him. Supreme walks up to Luke, and the referee's like, nah, bro, you gotta chill him. Won't let him touch him. Here, we want blood chant, and like the announcer Chris Kloss just said, supposedly the State Athletic Commission wanted them to have a doctor on standby for this match. Dr. Scott Loft climbs through the ropes and checks on Altar Boy Luke. Dr. Scott goes into his bag and grabs a thing of gauze and starts wrapping it around Luke's head, and as he's doing that, the fans in the front row are throwing more Christmas ornaments in the ring. Supreme starts walking around the ring, and the referee comes up and tells him to chill again. Supreme walks up like, bro, what the fuck are you guys even doing? And bends over and starts watching. We get a shot of Luke's wrapped up head, and it looks like he's bleeding as the doctor tries to open up more gauze. Tries wrapping his head up even more, and the fans break out into a kill the doctor chant. Supreme walks up and says something to the doctor. Doctor's like, fuck it, and hightails it outside the ring. Supreme stands Luke up against the ropes, but Luke knees him in the stomach and starts giving him some chops. Luke kicks him in the stomach and chest and then goes for another kick but misses, and Supreme counters into a pump handle slam. Picks him up, but Luke counters into a German suplex.
German suplex coming up. And he lifted the monster up and over. And then to a flat.
Both men stand up to their feet and Luke gives him a big drop kick.
Drop kick. And Supreme goes down.
And start chanting, "We want Shark Boy," and Luke gives him another drop kick.
Sort of offense here. Another drop kick. Beautifully.
Supreme rolls onto the apron, and Altar Boy Luke sees a perfect opportunity and says a prayer and gives him a big drop kick into the mousetrap.
Off the rope. Drop kick. Off Supreme. Supreme into that venom mousetrap.
We get a shot of Supreme laying in the mousetrap pit. Mousetraps were always a fun little treat in death matches. We never see them anymore. Supreme sits up in the mousetrap pit and starts checking his head for blood. We see Ultra Boy Luke trying to make it to his feet once again, and he finally does and slides outside the ring. Luke runs up behind Supreme and punches him right in the back of the head. He grabs Supreme and throws him into the ring, and then he gets up on the apron and climbs through the ropes. Grabs onto the chair on the chain and swings it at Supreme, and Supreme grabs onto it, and Luke runs up and kicks it into his face. The crowd boos them, so Ultra Boy Luke walks up and grabs the chair and kicks Supreme and slams the chair into his face. Grabs the chair and kicks him again and slams it into his face again. Luke grabs the chair again and hits him for a third time. The chair swings like crazy, so Luke stabilizes it and then goes over to the table that's hanging and grabs that bucket off of it. Dumps the bucket on the mat. We see a shitload of thumbtacks come out and the fans go nuts, and Luke gives them a DDT into it. Luke's selling the back full of thumbtacks he just laid in. You see Luke rolling around in pain, picking thumbtacks out of his back. Supreme sits up in the ring and we see his bloody face with thumbtacks stuck in it. The referee stops the fucking match and tells the doctor to come in again. Dr. Scott climbs into the ring and starts examining Supreme. Takes a towel and starts wiping the blood off Supreme's head and then wraps his head up in gauze. Fans are pissed and start chanting bullshit, and as soon as Dr. Scott's finished helping Supreme, Altar Boy Luke spinning kicks him into the thumbtack. Luke stands over Supreme and stomps on him and then sits him up. Luke kicks Supreme right in the back of the head and then goes over to the table and grabs a giant fucking bag of salt. Plops the bag down on the mat and then starts kicking Supreme in the head. Picks up the whole bag and dumps salt all over Supreme's fucking head. Here's Supreme freaking out, and Altar Boy Luke gives him some more kicks. Grabs onto the chain with the wrench on it and starts standing up on the top rope. See Luke walking on the ropes like he's the fucking Undertaker into the other corner. He holds onto the chain and uses it as a rope swing and kicks a fucking mailbox into Supreme's face. Luke says another prayer and then walks up and starts kicking Supreme as the fans chant XPW. Pushes Supreme down onto the mat and then goes for a pin. Referee won't count for the fucking pin. Luke's like, bro, what the fuck? And walks up to the ref and shoves him, and the ref shoves him back. Luke's like, bro, what the fuck are you trying to do? And the ref's like, dude, we gotta fucking stop the match again. Luke gets pissed as fuck and punches a chair, and we see Dr. Scott climb in the ring again. Luke's pissed as fuck, so he kicks the bag of salt and stands there with his hands on his hips watching. Get a shot of Dr. Scott wrapping up Supreme's head in gauze again. He wraps it around Supreme's head a few times, and we see Supreme pick his nose. Luke's like, bro, fuck this, and walks up and tries to push him out of the way, but the ref's like, bro, stop. Get a shot of Dr. Scott sitting there examining Supreme's wrapped up head, making sure he's okay to keep wrestling. Luke punches Supreme as Dr. Scott scurries out of the ring. He kicks Supreme and Supreme knocks him to the ground. Supreme walks up to Luke and grabs him and holds him for a second and gives him a big fallaway slam. You see Luke rolling around in the thumbtacks and salt, and then someone throws Supreme a stuffed Alf, and the crowd goes fucking nuts with an Alf chant. Supreme mashes it into the side of his head and then throws it at him. Supreme grabs Luke by the shirt and starts walking him into the corner. Stands Luke up and sits him on the top rope. Supreme tries to climb up, but Luke fires back with some punches and kicks out of the corner. Luke runs up and jumps on Supreme. Get a shot of Luke on the mat cringing in pain, and Supreme walks up and grabs that bucket off the table and dumps thumbtacks all over it. Supreme chucks the bucket at Luke and misses, and then grabs him by the shirt and starts dragging him into the corner again. Supreme clubs Luke in the back, and the fans break out into another Alf chant. Referee picks it up and throws it to Supreme, and Supreme takes it and puts it on top of the table. Supreme backs up into the corner and sits on the top rope, but Luke starts punching him. Luke climbs up there with Supreme and starts punching him, and he goes for a fucking Frankensteiner. Supreme counters with a powerbomb through the fucking thumbtack table. We gotta see that in slow-mo. Shit was fucking awesome, and the fans break out into an XPW chant. We see Supreme start standing up to his feet. He stands up and walks over to the chair hanging from the ceiling. Supreme starts trying to take the chain off the chair. He keeps fucking with it, and he can't get it at first, and then he finally gets it off. Supreme grabs onto the chain and starts fucking with it, but I'm not sure what he's doing as the fans chant, "That's hardcore." Supreme bends over and picks up the chair and nails Luke in the stomach with it. Luke rolls around in pain, and then we get another shot of Supreme fucking with another chain. But like I was saying when I was live with FanCam, the month before this show, XPW had a show called Exit Sandman where they had a three-way between Angel, Altar Boy, Luke, and Supreme. Supreme grabbed a chair and cracked both men in the head.
My God!
That chair shot right there. XPW's owner did not like that he put his hands up for that chair shot, so he was like, at the next show, you're going up against Supreme, and you're not going to put your hands up for the chair shot. Supreme does as he's told and takes the chains and wraps them around Altar Boy Luke's arms. Supreme getting the crowd hyped up as he keeps wrapping his arm with the chain. Supreme goes over to the other chain and starts wrapping that around his other arm. Fans break out into a crucify chant. This is a pretty hot crowd. Someone chucks something into the ring to Supreme and he hits Luke in the head with it. Supreme picks up a chair but then puts it back down to make sure Altar Boy Luke's arms are up. Luke is now crucified, and Supreme picks up the chair and starts fucking rocking him with it.
Supreme, oh my goodness, did you hear the impact? Luke's got nowhere to go, nowhere to go.
Fucking cracked his ass, and his arm comes out of the chain.
Human horn film.
Ref starts raising Luke's arm to see if he's still conscious, and Supreme does it again.
Oh my goodness, did you hear that?
Ref starts telling Supreme to stop, and he does it again.
Supreme telling him to back up, but Supreme will have none of it. And look at Luke, Luke could die here.
Ref's like, bro, you really have to stop, and takes the chair out of Supreme's hands and throws it. Dr. Scott climbs into the ring and checks on Altar Boy Luke once again. Dr. Scott looks in his eyes and sees that he's out and tells the referee to call for the bell.
And that's it. Referee calling for the bell here. What's the official decision?
Fans are fucking pissed and start booing, and that's a wrap on this match, guys.
Fans, the referee has stopped the match. The winner.
Those chair shots were so fucking brutal, we gotta see him in slow-mo. Those first two shots were so fucking brutal, and he went in for more. As always, RIP to Supreme, who we lost on May 6th of 2020 to a heart attack. Supreme was a huge name in the West Coast deathmatch scene and will always go down in deathmatch history. It wasn't even near the main event, it was the fourth match on the card. Luke elaborated on this incident. XPW's announcer Chris Kloss has a podcast called The Wrestling Chatter where he gets the XPW guys to come on and tell some stories from back in the day. He had Luke on as a guest, and Luke briefly spoke about this incident. Check it out.
As far as getting eyeballs on you, proving yourself, and opening up new doors?
100% it was. I mean, definitely.
Yeah.
That's not thought. I had to do it. And
Yeah.
I'm thankful that I did it.
Yeah.
You know, there's some things I would like to change and some parts that I'm not really fond of. I mean, you know, just bad taste in my mouth. The reasons I dislike Rob, because he has no, regard for any other person at all.
Right.
And that came when I put my hand up for that chair shot that we spoke about earlier.
Right.
He had me crucified by Supreme and smashed in the head several times with the chair, so I couldn't defend myself. And it gave me such a bad concussion. Really did some damage. It really did, and long term. So.
Wow, sorry to hear that.
Yeah, exactly. So it's one of those things I don't talk about it, but that was my first real bad concussion, and I mean it was
Because I don't think when we've talked, I don't think you ever brought that up to me either. Just one-on-one hanging out. No.
I don't really talk. But that's one thing that left a big distaste in my mouth, and because he had no regard in it, I had to pay this price to show how tough I was because I put my hand up for a chair shot, and it's like bitch, what have you done? What have you done besides pump money into this? What have you done? You ain't a wrestler. You don't put your body on the line. You didn't go through the training. You know what I mean? You didn't do none of that. So don't tell me how tough I am.
Right. I always, myself too, the very little that I've ever done in a ring, like I would never ever mention to a wrestler like what he's going through or whatever, because I don't know,
You want to tell me how to go fight me, motherfucker? Fight me, and we'll see who's tougher.
There you go. I mean, it's a good point. So from the death matches, just overall, Luke,
Luke was also asked about this on a podcast. I'm not sure what the guy's name is that runs this podcast, but it's on the wrestler The Hannibal's channel, The Hannibal TV on YouTube. Luke spoke on the incident and talked a little bit about Rob Black. Check it out.
It's funny. My buddy used to get all the XPW DVDs, and we watch it. I remember you got like crucified basically and nailed. It's like, man, he's nuts. It's like taking that shot.
Yeah,
I had no idea that you didn't want to take that shot. I thought you were just crazy.
Well, here's the thing. Is I wasn't told I was taking that shot.
Wow.
I was told I was taking one shot, like the Dreamer Raven thing, where he's cuffed to the cage and one chair shot heard around the world. Same exact thing. I wasn't told that I was being punished until after. I didn't learn that I was being punished until after, and I was going to get bashed in the head with the chair until after. And it did damage, dude. I got a nice freaking dent in my head right here. Like if you run your finger on my head from my skull, it's right here. I got a nice big indentation in my skull from that.
Yeah.
So it's, and that dude's going on saying, "Oh, what do you think was going to happen? He knew it was going to." All right.
But is that on Supreme or is that on Rob?
Well, for me, it's on Rob because Rob's the one who did it. Rob's the one who put it out there. Rob's the one who called it. He put Supreme in a bad spot. Do I hold Supreme responsible? Yeah, of course I do because I wouldn't do that to somebody. But it was a different time back then. You got to think you had those locker room enforcers in every locker room you went to. Look at all. And I'm not going to throw anybody's name on the bus, but you can go look at any company and look at the guys that used to put them in, and they'd be all, your job is to beat the fuck out of this guy tonight. Just go out there and beat his fucking ass back in black and blue. It happened, right? So, Rob's the one who initiated that. Supreme apologized to me for it. Supreme told me he felt terrible for doing it, and he felt caught up in the crossfire because the boss is telling him he has to do this. But on the other hand, he's got somebody that he respects and he cares about, and back then we didn't know about concussions and the damage it does long term or any of that stuff, right? We didn't know any about this stuff. It was just being tough. Like if you couldn't be tough, you couldn't be there. You couldn't be anywhere. Look at WWE. Look at the chair shots they used to take there, right? Look how bad it was. Look at the Mankind. I mean, everybody talks about the Rock Mankind stuff. There's so many more. Look at the Hardys. Look at the Hardys with Brock Lesnar, and it was just repetitive. And everywhere you looked in wrestling, that happened. ECW, right? Look at Balls and Axel, right? The way they used to swing the chair. Nobody knew. So, and 21-year-old me, I'm 40 now. 21-year-old me just thought I was being tough, right? And it's looking back on. Let me tell you something. I'm just straightforward. I'm my own man. I feel like I'm tough. I might be dumb, whatever. I think you take a freaking shotgun to kill me. But if I seen that happen to my kid, if I heard that something like that happened to my kid, or if I heard somebody put a hit out or did something, purposely try to hurt somebody like that, hurt my kid or hurt one of my friends, guess what? All bets are off. All bets are off. We just went to a whole new level, right? Because we're not wrestling anymore. We're taking it somewhere else. So then all the wrestling shit goes out the window. So that's how I feel about it now. You purposely took advantage of somebody that, especially a young, hungry kid who loved pro wrestling and wanted to do anything he could to be a pro wrestler and put on the best show as possible. And we always had to out top to go to the next level. There's no sense for it, and back then was a different time. And again, like if Rob was to say, now it's too late now. But if he would have said, look, yeah, I did that. I apologize because I didn't realize the effects those things could have on people. You know what I mean? Then that would have been a different story. But that's not the case. He's out running around saying like I'm a liar and that I knew what was going on and all that bullshit. What did you think was going to happen? Okay. All right.
So
thanks for watching the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. That was so fucking brutal. I can't believe Rob Black made him do that. Shit's so insane that Luke still has an indent in his skull from that spot. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I might drop this on YouTube in the future, but as you guys know, you're my Patreon family, so you're getting it first. It is pretty fucked up that Supreme did it, but like Luke said, he apologized after, and he really didn't even want to. Just figured I'd throw you guys a little treat, so I hope you enjoyed it. As always, I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Later.